man once, and he lived way, way down in the southwest of Ireland, off the coast of Kerry. And he lived on an island called Anblasket Moor, or the Great Blasket Island. And in the summertime, when the weather was good, he would jump into the curragh and he would row even further westwards than the Blasket Moor. He would row out to an island called Inishvigalan. Now the fishing was great around Inishvigalan, and the waters were very rich, and in the summer you could catch herring and cod and mackerel and even salmon. And he also put down pots, all sorts of pots that he made himself, and he caught lobster. And he'd take all his fish and all his lobsters back to the Blasket Moor, and he would pass them on, and they would be sold in Andangany Hush or Dingle in County Kerry. But often he would be on the island on his own. There was no one else there. There wasn't anyone else from Blasket Moor there. There was no one else there from County Kerry. There was no one there from anywhere in Ireland. In fact, there was no other human beings on the island. So he was on his own. But was he on his own? He used to say that the island was filled with Nadini Shi, Napuki, agus a Ledge, Tabshi, agus a Hundred. He would say that the island was full of fairy folk and ghosts. And he could hear their music. And even though Inishvigalan is a very eerie place and it's often covered with mist and shrouded so you can hardly see your hand in front of you, at other times there are terrible storms coming in from the Atlantic, big roaring storms with massive waves crashing onto the beaches. But it didn't matter whether it was misty, calm weather and the sea like glass, or if there was a terrible tempest and a storm and the rocks crashing onto the rocks on the shore. He could hear the music of Nadini Shi. And he was a fiddle player himself, and he would often go back to the Blasket Moor when the weather was better. And he'd take the fiddle down off the hearth in his wee thatched house in the Blasket Moor, and he would play the music that he heard. And one of the tunes he heard, he called Port Nabuki, or the music of the ghosts. Now the story of the fisherman and the ghostly music went all around Ireland and went around Ireland for a few generations. And eventually the story came to the ear of the great poet Seamus Heaney. And Seamus Heaney wrote about this. He wrote a very beautiful poem called The Given Note, or An Nota a Tugaí Dá. On the most westerly Blasket in a dry stone hut, he got this air out of the night. Strange noises were heard by others that followed, bits of a tune coming in loud weather, though nothing like melody. He blamed their fingers and ears as unpractised, their fiddling easy, for he had gone alone into the island and brought back the whole thing. The house throbbed like his full violin. But whether he calls it fairy music or not, I don't care. He took it out of wind, off mid-Atlantic. Still, he maintains, from nowhere. It comes off the bow gravely and refrizzes itself into the air. An blascad is éirí amachchan chluiche singala, fuair sé an pun seo amach chus an líche. Hí daoine eile thuúán fuaimena aisteacha, gití póirte hanig thóir na heimsere. Ach cín a fan chríneach é. Bhí a lucht a méire, a chlúsa, an chlachtaí gan chasteach dar leis. Ina éonar a thuí séisina isteach an Ellen, agus thug sé an tiomlan ar ais leis. Hí an teach a phreicpolú mar an idir híon. Ach ma bhéir sé ceol na siar nó leid, is cummalumsa. Thug sé as an rí é, as rí an Atlantic siar, go seaid ar sé as atir bí. Fuaiminn sé an bua amach go stúma a déanú a chrothú isteach san air.